Well, if you think of somewhere like Carnegie Hall as the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow in a musician's dreams, Juilliard is the beginning of that arc, and it's a building full of intense aspiration, talent, hope, dedication, concentration. It's one of the most singularly focused places I've been to in my life. The energy in these hallways is completely tangible. And I'm very fond of saying behind every studio door or rehearsal room door, there's a potential miracle brewing.
Johann Sebastian Bach is, today, we see him as the most important composer of the 18th century, of the Baroque.
Maybe it's best to think about what's special about Bach by thinking about his name, Bach, which means brook or stream in German, and he was part of a generations long tradition of musicians. I prefer to think of him, instead of being a stream, as the spring, as the source. You can literally trace in Western classical music tradition dozens and dozens and dozens of musical rivers that developed from this one spring. He is the source.
Bach is the apex. I expect for most musicians, people that play Shostakovich and Rachmaninoff and Schoenberg would say Bach is, he's one of the pioneers. And so to an early music performer, he is absolutely the apex of what we do. And every instrument and every group always plays Bach as the majority of their repertoire.
I think what's special about singing Bach is that there's so many secrets hidden in the music. There's so many things that Bach puts in regards to theology, regarding the way he places notes and the way he sets text. I think that you can't sing Bach without acknowledging the relationship between the voice, the instrument, and theology. I think that's really special and something that you really have to engage with and not shy away from.
Bach was on top of everything else, Bach was a very practical church musician. He was a craftsman in the very old tradition, and this music was written to engage a community. And Aachen is a wonderful community as a representative community, both with its own musical traditions, with its choruses, but also its rich, vast number of churches. And so I think for a project like this to come and engage a community is deeply meaningful. For any young artist, the St. Matthew Passion is, if you're a musician, you have to come to terms with it. If you're a singer, if you're an oboist, if you're a violinist, somehow this is one of those central works. Just like if you're an actor, you have to come to terms with King Lear, or if you're a painter, you have to come to terms with the Sistine Chapel. This is one of those central defining works. And so for a group of brilliantly talented young musicians to encounter and come to terms with this piece in conjunction with a community that's invested in it, I think is the right recipe. We have the right ingredients at play, because it's not a piece that exists in the abstract. It's not a piece to be done in a rehearsal room. It's a piece that exists in the engagement with a community.
Well, Aitken is a pretty magical place to come down to. It's what the place represents, and all the facilities there are quite extraordinary. For us as historical performers, it's amazing to be able to be playing this music in some of the spaces close to what they would have originally been done in. So it means that we're actually performing chamber music in beautiful chambers, much like the 18th century, surrounded by beautiful objects, which is fantastic.
The Bach St. Matthew Passion is something that has to be seen and heard to be believed. Bach is this extraordinary composer who understood so much about humanity and human emotion and human experience that nowadays we really get to experience with popular culture and fast food and computers and all of this technology. We just don't have anything that expresses anywhere near the level of humanity that we, of course, are based on. We all feel, we all experience these emotions. But Bach has this ability to bring about an experience of that is second to none. And so I would really, really urge you all to come along and hear this, to see it, to witness it, to close your eyes and think of everything that's flying around in the music and how that translates to us nowadays. It's just an incomparable experience. It's really amazing.